Yeah. All righty, kids. I think we are on the YouTube channel. Hello, I am James Lott Jr. Welcome to the Book of Boba Fett Aftershow, whatever that means. Yes, I'm James Lott Jr. Of course, my friends. Oh, let's turn that off. Turn off. My friends are all things Star Warsian. John Dunphy and Frank Moran. Hi, guys. Woo! We are here. Thank you for making the show. Continue to make the show one of my top shows on the network. I don't know why you're watching or listening, but sure, we'll take it. We love it. But thank you so much. We appreciate that. You can follow us on all streaming services. That's right. And then platforms. And then, of course, here. So, gentlemen, there are several things we're going to talk about. Several. And the one thing I'll bring up first, it sounds totally weird because, hey, how are you there, sister? I thought you were dropping something off for me. Are you like coming to drop something off for me? I'm like, she's just in the chat. I'm like, you're supposed to drop something off for me. I don't know what's going on. You'll tell me I guess in the chat. Okay. Number one, today I saw the trailer for Picard season 3 and made me giddy with excitement. Now, why am I mentioning that? Is that basically it's the next generation reuniting. Now, some folks I've heard say, "Oh, I'm here." Of course you're here, sis. Now she's here. I want to give you guys to think about this because I think it's kind of like while Picard is happening now, season 2, it's almost I'm jumping off now. Okay, is it weird? I'll be right back.
I will tell you, John, I feel, as somebody who's also watching Picard, I don't know if you are or not, I'm feeling kind of frustrated by the show. Just the storytelling is not working out well for me. I feel like they have the kernel of a great idea, but not one. But when you stretch it out over 10 episodes, it loses a lot of the impact. I feel like, if you would just tighten it up, maybe this would be like a great, just constantly moving, everything rolling 6-episode series. But now you've made it 10 episodes and it's not so great. But it feels weird to me that I think they've just done episode 4. So going into their halfway mark of this season, they're also saying, guess what, guys? Well, we know what you really wanted for the show for the longest time. We're going to show you that. Stick with us for another season. We swear we'll finally give you what you're looking for. It seems so odd to me that they would release that in the midst of their second season. It almost seems like it's like, who cares about this season, right, everybody? Let's just get to the third season. Get excited. You know what that's all about. So it seems weird to me. So to relate it over to Star Wars, I guess it doesn't really. It's not quite the same corollary as midway through Boba Fett's show. All of a sudden, it becomes Mando's show. That wasn't announced. It just was what happened, and you just go with it. You're like, all right, Mando's popped up, and now we've done a whole episode that's just Mandalorian 2.1, so to speak. So yeah, I don't know. I mean, I feel like Star Trek didn't handle it weird, but Star Wars, it was an unexpected surprise, and I think for most people would have found it a good surprise.
Yeah. So you're saying everything. I come back here. You're saying everything else. So thank you, Frank. So thank you. We'll see you guys next week. Well,
all right. We did it, everybody. We solved everything.
That's as a person who has shows and I market things, I'm like, don't you usually wait till after the season ends and then go like next season? Like I just felt, I was getting excitement to hear this. I'm not even watching season 2. So yeah, as I heard. So, but like you just said, it's kind of. But then I was like relating it to Star Wars. I guess nowadays they're just like we're doing whatever we want to do at this point. Just we got something we want to change direction, and all of a sudden just let you know. I guess that's just it. I guess. I mean, it's.
I guess if you looked at it to like Mando season 1, if you were watching that, Mando season 2, pardon me, and it gets like midway through. If they had announced like, oh, hey, guess what, guys, we're doing a Book of Boba Fett next season, that would have seemed weird. Yeah. But once you get to the end of season 2, and all of a sudden, boom, you get that little stinger at the end and says Book of Boba Fett coming. Everybody's like, whoa, all right, this is awesome.
Right.
So I don't know why Picard didn't say at the end, just keep that until the end of season 2, and say, boom, guys, guess what's coming up in season 3, and just get everybody crazy about it.
I know, so weird. Okay, so thank you. Basically, that's what I wanted to hear. Okay, next thing is Entertainment Weekly. Their last physical copy, like actual physical copy with paper, was Obi-Wan Kenobi cover. That was the actually official. I thought it was how interesting. That was the last one. Now it's going to be fully digital, apparently. My dream is now dashed. I've always wanted to be in Entertainment Weekly, the physical magazine. That's, to me, the industry Bible, much like Rolling Stone or people. I always want to be in the actual magazine. But now it's just digital, so I guess I got to settle for that one day. But it's Obi-Wan Kenobi. So I just want you guys to know that that's, if you guys want to get it, it's out now. You can get it anywhere. It's just that's the last copy of anything. I'm gonna try to go get it. I didn't get it at first. I'm gonna try to go get it and have a copy of it.
I don't know. It is a shame because there was a time, as I'm sure like you were, James, where I was subscribed to Entertainment Weekly, loved it, come in, devoured it, pretty much cover to cover, just enjoyed it tremendously. And then probably 2013, 2014, I kind of fell off and never quite got back on the bandwagon again. And then it went from weekly to monthly to now it's just digital only.
Yeah, I would say for me, it was around 2018, 2019. I was like, it started to change. It was like, it's a little too, but I still liked what I read, some of the stuff, but I wasn't the weekly reader. It really depended on who was in the cover, really depended on who was like kind of in it. Some of their picks for books and music, I was like, really? That's what you're picking? Okay. So I don't know. It's just for me, it's the end of an era. We all came from magazines. We came from magazines, so that's where you come from. I mean, it's kind of like, oh.
Well, I think it's a bummer too, because obviously, the way things are going is that print media, right, is on its way out. But there is something to that. I mean, we're talking about magazines, and I think it's really cool that Obi-Wan is the cover of the last, the last edition of this. But I think it even speaks to something that we all are probably interested in, is even like comic books. Like, it's cool to have that sort of thing, like to have something that's yours that you can frame, even that you can just go back and read whenever you want. And it's different now. I mean, I guess you could print out the covers and frame those, but it's different having like a, something that's super rare or that's super meaningful on the cover of some magazine or some comic book that you really loved. And now to see that sort of media going out the window is definitely like a bummer.
Well, look like behind you, John, you have a poster.
Yeah.
And I know you have stuff on your wall too. I have stuff on my wall. Like, I just wonder how far that's going to go. I mean, at some point, is everything going to be just digital? And as an organizer, I understand the footprint, the carbon footprint. I understand all that. I like having album art. I like having posters. I like that stuff.
Yeah.
But as long as there's teenagers in college dorm rooms, there will never be a lack of posters for everybody. I feel like, especially for Star Wars fans, but I think other fans as well. But Star Wars fans, for the longest time, it was just those souvenir magazines that you had to tide you over between the movies.
Yeah.
And especially that long dry spell between Return of the Jedi and Phantom Menace. You would just be able to look pour over those. And but there's just, I don't know, something that as a kid when you were just looking at those magazines, just trying to just your mind was exploding with possibilities about what all these things could mean in future films. Your imagination would run wild, which then I think perhaps on the bad side led to as adults, disappointment in the Book of Boba Fett. When you're like, this is what they're doing. This is not nowhere near as cool as what I thought Boba Fett would be up to.
That's hilarious. No, I mean, I was a kid. My brother and I had our room. Actually, it was right over here. I'm back home where I grew up. We each had our own wall, and I had posters on my wall. And so I remember I had a Farrah Fawcett poster, the famous one, of course. I had that one. I also had prints on the wall. I just remember that was something you got out of magazines, fanzines. We went to record stores when they had record stores, folks. You could just buy different things. I mean, it was just like, even comic book places, we found this weird pullouts and things. And I just felt bad. The last poster I had up, it was Darth Vader. It said, "Who's your daddy?" And I had it up for years. My friends loved that, but they were walking and start laughing. And I was like, I mean, I got that out of a pullout somewhere. I don't even know where I got it from. It was like some magazine had it. I don't know, Who's Your Daddy, of course, ha ha ha. I had it on my wall for the longest time. I had it for the longest time. I just think it's kind of, I remember getting a big pullout. Well, I don't know I forgot how they are. Well, New York Times probably did it too, but yeah, New York Times did it. LA Times was something the Sunday calendar section. That had sometimes full-length ads of concerts. And I had, guess how old I am, folks. I had Duran Duran back in 1980 Theater coming to the Forum for the 7 Ragged Tiger tour. I was 14 years old. And I remember getting getting the paper on Sunday. It was thicker than the other papers. And the counter section had a huge page ad of them at the Forum. And I had ripped that out, put it on my wall. It was like a big deal. I'm like, I just think that's sad. Texas Ranger fan says there will be holograms in kids' rooms.
Yeah, so you're gonna have like all the you're gonna look like you're walking into a mod shop, right? In Star Wars, there's gonna be like digital stuff on the walls and no real posters or anything. Yeah,
back to the mod stuff. He's back to the mod stuff, Frank.
There you go. Do you guys want to come over and check out my NFT? Oh man, you're gonna love it. That'd be great.
I just read an article today, Frank, about NFTs. People are starting to lose interest in them or something. I don't even know what they are. So, yeah. So anyway, so that was very interesting. Also, in the Star Wars universe, I went to look at Disney Plus the other day to see just what's going on for Boba Fett. Is there anything new on there? Right now, what I found was just picture galleries, some concept art, and I found this.
Ooh.
yeah. I think of my own self. In my announcer voice, I found this. It is 20 great, I can't even say the word, 20 great quotes from Boba Fett. Now, you two might be like me going, there were 20 great quotes. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to read the quotes. And you can tell me if you recognize any of them.
Oh, okay. Okay.
It's crazy. I was just like, okay. I'm just thinking it's just like there were 20 great quotes. I'm like, I see Frank's face. I'm like, that's the face I had. Okay, here we go.
I was thinking, please tell me number one is open parentheses, ... close parentheses, nod.
Emmy-nominated nod, Emmy-worthy nod.
Can I ask a question before you start? Does it tell you where, like, what show or movie that the quotes came from? Okay, all right. Okay.
I'm just curious if you just recognize. I mean, there are a couple I recognize, but I was just like, I really didn't know there's 20 great quotes. Like, we don't have no behind the scenes, no backstory, nothing like that. We get 20 great quotes. Okay, here we go.
Wow.
Number one is, I'm the crime lord. He's supposed to pay me. That was Boba Fett.
Okay. I recognize that from Book of Boba Fett.
Yes, and that was from chapter 1.
Yeah. I mean, that's when he's talking to the mayor's lackey, right?
Yeah, the Major Domo.
Major Domo. Thank you. He said, I like lackey better. I like Frank. Here's one. Number 2. Shall I kill him? By Fennec.
Wait, hold on a second. Wait a minute. So these aren't just 20. I thought these are 20 great Boba Fett quotes.
No, that's the title of it.
So are these all quotes from the Book of Boba Fett?
I'm assuming that's what it is. Yeah, I'm saying.
Okay.
I read the way they titled it.
Okay, I was hoping we were getting 20 quotes from Boba Fett in all.
There's more from him too. There's more from him too, but
because I know he has a very limited amount of dialogue in the original trilogy.
That's what they say too. To go a man of few words. It's like go 20.
Right.
Yes,
but he's got quotes from. He's got quotes from The Mandalorian. He's got quotes from the Book of Boba Fett. I'm even thinking back to, because we see little Boba Fett in like the Clone Wars and in obviously the prequel trilogy. So I'm wondering what time period these quotes from Boba Fett are coming from, or if they're just quotes from the Book of Boba Fett.
Yeah. And is a holiday special count?
Yeah, it's a great question.
My friend Maddie the archivist on TikTok, who does all the very minutia of Star Wars, he did one today that I love about B. Arthur. Yes, B. Arthur was yes, Frank. She was in the holiday special.
Yes, she's
played a bartender. Yes, exactly. And she shows up in a couple other things later. So she's canon, they said, of the Star Wars universe. If that bitch was alive, I'd love to see her in something now, but she did.
She sings
That's
for a very
fantastic.
long time, John. She sings for a very long time.
I watched that holiday special live. I was a kid. I watched it live on television. They tried to sweep the rug afterwards. They keep popping up. And folks, I did a show on the holiday special on my Darth Vader is Your Father episode. You go over there and check that out. Okay.
There was somebody gave me like a copy of the special with commercials. I was like, "Ooh, this would be cool to just see some cool old school commercials." But it was all like Union Steel.
Yes.
And I'm like, this is commercials boring.
What part of the
Oh,
from Pittsburgh? What the fuck?
Yes, it was off. Like, talk about just rubbing salt in the wound of a show that's already not great, and then we're just gonna also make the commercials really awful.
You want to see, and they tell two friends, and so on. And so
yes,
on. You want to see those commercials. You want to see Jordache cheese commercials, didn't you?
Only my hairdresser knows for sure.
Exactly. We wear short shorts. Those are the commercials Frank wanted to see. So
yes,
disappointed him who you are. Disappointed him. Okay, back to the quotes, kids. See, this show's off the rails already. Just like the show is, just like Boba Fett was. What was Shall I Kill Him? That's from chapter 1. And of course, you know this one. Jabba ruled with fear. I intend to rule with respect.
Yep.
And then sleep lightly, bounty hunter. That was one of the Hutt twins said that.
Yeah. Okay.
All right.
I don't know why these are great. 5. like a bantha, Boba Fett said.
That's what he's doing. He's teaching the tribe how to ride the speeders, right?
Yep, exactly. But John's good. He's good. He's good.
Is just real quick, James? Is there a question mark after great in this title?
No.
All right.
There should be. As I said, these are all a stretch. I think the nod would actually work better than some of these quotes. Oh my God. Okay, here we go. If you wish to continue breathing, I advise you to weigh your next words carefully. Now it's Fennec. Wait, what's this at the same time?
It is. That's a good quote. that is.
That's from chapter 3. Okay. No hard feelings. It's just business. That's Boba Fett.
Is that to Chrysanthemum? Or
it is. It is.
Oh, very good.
Wow, that was good, Frank. Okay.
Oh, is that when they're telling he's letting Chrysanthemum go?
Yes.
Because Chrysanthemum snuck in and okay. Now I'm remembering. Okay.
And then he just does that terrible run, which just demeaned him.
We found out he was running straight for the bar. Straight to the bar.
Well, he's like, I can't think the same word. Yeah. Okay, here's one. Find other banthas. Make baby banthas. Go.
Yeah.
That's yeah. That's homeboy go. That's chapter 4. Here we go. Do you know who I am? I am Boba Fett.
I feel like he said that a few times, right?
He probably did, but this one is specific. This is specific.
Is this what to all the mods, where he's trying to tell the gang who he is?
No.
Ooh.
You know who I am?
I am Boba Fett.
Ooh. Is this when he's trying to get a table at a restaurant?
Spagos. Yeah. At Boa Steakhouse. At Fridays. Guy Fridays.
Is he saying this is Stephen Root's character?
No. It's he has a droid against the neck, and it's in chapter 4, the Gathering Storm, when they storm the gate, when they storm the house, mayor's house or whatever. When they go in there to look for stuff.
Okay.
That's when they come across all these droids. He has one droid's neck, and he's saying that.
Was this when he was chasing those kitchen droids around?
Yes. Yes.
There we go.
Okay. Number 10. You can only go so far without a tribe. No offense.
I feel like I remember this quote. I just don't remember like the context of it, who he was saying it to.
Was he saying to Fennec when they were kind of
okay.
Yes.
All right.
Very good. Very good.
There you go.
Nice. There's the bell.
I forgot the bell was there. Oh, number 11. Hit it, Max. Garsa Whip. Our girl, Jennifer Beals.
I assume this is after the chrysanthemum. She breaks up the chrysanthemum fight.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh.
Guys, I will be honest right now. I don't remember a time when we weren't talking about these quotes. It feels like it's been going.
Yeah, exactly. Right, exactly.
we're only at number 12 now.
Number 12, exactly.
I have to say too, like, great quote and all from Madame Garza, but like that fight still ended with somebody's arm getting ripped off.
Oh yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
How great was it?
It was. Number 12. Loyalty and solidarity are the way. The Mandalorian.
Is that when they're like pinned into that building, into the ruins of the sanctuary, and they're trying to figure out Like, Boba's like, you should just leave, and Mando's like, loyalty.
I remember that, but no, that's not from there.
Oh, correct. All right. It's the moment it made me think of, but
I guess it's got to be 6.
Nope. It is Chapter 5. Return of the Mandalorian. Jaren is well aware of the importance of having a clan on his back. This line echoes Boba Fett's own sentiments and foreshadows 2 crossing paths again.
Oh wait, does he still say this when he's on that
yes.
cool outdoor planet?
Yeah, he ain't gotten to homeboy yet.
That's right. Okay.
Now here's we know this one. We talked about this line. Number 13. Dated Jawa for a while. They're quite furry. Very furry. LA model. We know that one.
Yes.
That was for Chapter 5. That was hilarious. 14. Wizard, the Mandalorian.
Oh, that was when he got his new ship. Wizard.
Yep. Okay. All right. Number 15. Get back up. Always get back up, Luke Skywalker.
Oh man, I remember this quote. I'm trying to picture the scene.
Oh, it's when he's training Grogu.
It is.
That's right.
Chapter 6. From the desert comes a stranger.
Right.
Number 16. And I remember we talked about this quote too because we thought it was very cool. So much like your father, Ahsoka Tano. We already know that was a good line. We like that. I was like, we talked about that.
Yeah.
Oh, here we go.
I will say though, I was momentarily taken aback when you did that previous quote and said Luke Skywalker, and I was like, "Wait, Luke Skywalker? Why are they?" And then I was like, "Oh wait, yeah, hey dummy, he showed up in this series."
Remember, everybody was on Boba Fett at some points. Everybody came through. I don't understand. I mean, everybody came through. You forgot for a second, Frank. Everyone came on Boba Fett. Okay, here we go. Number 17. I'd be careful where I stick you my nose if I were you, Cad Bane.
He doesn't say that. I don't think he says that to Cobb Vanth.
Right, that's what I was thinking too. My first thought was that to Cobb Vanth, but I don't think he'd be saying that, right? To Cobb Vanth?
I don't think he did. So it would probably be the episode after.
It's Chapter 6.
Okay.
So they're not sure. I'm thinking it's when he was facing Cobb Vanth and also the deputy. And so it looks like the picture looks like it's from there.
Okay.
All right. Number 18. This is the part, actually, John, you were ahead of us. We will both die in the name of honor, the Mandalorian.
Okay.
That's when they're together. Yeah, it's about that. Like they're trapped. Number 19. This is my city, Boba Fett.
Great quote. Yeah.
And of course, at the end, this is from the end of the series. If not us, then who? Fennec Shand.
Yeah.
So that's all you give. I'm just saying, it was such a weird. As I was going through, like looking for Boba Fett material, that's what we got.
I mean, none of the mods got a quote. None of their scintillating dialogue was
not. I think if this list included the best spin and shoot, the mods would have been right up there. You know,
you mean the best eye in town? The best eye in town?
Yeah. Oh, the best useless use of your mod powers.
Yes. I was like, I don't even understand. So that was that. So that was all. That was that. There's a picture galleries, concept art, but there's no documentaries, no behind the scenes yet. They're probably not going to do anything, I guess. I mean, they have plenty for Mandalorian, plenty for other stuff. Also looking at Star Wars Resistance, one of the series I have not watched. My friend Christopher Sean's in it, actually. He's from Days of Our Lives. He actually is a voice in it. Not who he plays. But I haven't checked it out. It's animated, folks. If you haven't watched it, I think I might try to check it out. I just haven't watched it yet.
Yeah. It's I've seen a very little bit of Star Wars Resistance. It's good. It's just very different from the other animated series. Okay. So it was a little harder for me to jump right into. But something that I do want to continue and finish.
Yeah, I want to watch it because my friend's in it, so I was like, I wanted to see what he does.
Yeah.
I've never watched it.
And
Also,
in that one, right?
What?
Poe Dameron's in that a little bit.
Yes, yes,
that's right. And BB-8, I think too, is in that.
Yeah.
And yeah,
I'll look at that. Also, folks, there will be an after show. We already have it set up, and it's actually doing very well. I just did a couple of preview stuff on there, but nothing major yet on there. But Obi-Wan Kenobi is coming out 2 days later on May 27th with 2 episodes, but then returning to Wednesday and doing the finishing out on Wednesday. No explanation, no reasoning. I've looked around. No one can say anything. What do you guys think about that?
I have 2 thoughts on it. The first is that I'm bummed because I thought it was cool, like the historical significance of seeing Obi-Wan on the same day all these years later with his own series on Disney Plus. I thought that was super cool. But I do think it's awesome that we're going to get 2 episodes on that first day instead of 1, right? I mean, and it seems like these are going to be about an hour each. I mean, I don't know anything official, but from what I've been seeing online, it seems like these episodes are going to be about an hour each. So in a way, I'm okay with waiting 2 extra days if we're getting like a whole movie, almost a 2-hour essentially beginning to this, to start it off. But I thought it would have been really cool to see this series come out on the very same day we saw Obi-Wan decades ago, But
what do you think?
I mean, I agree. I think it's because it's only 6 episodes. So I'm hoping. I'm not going to say no to more Star Wars content for sure. I can only hope that it's like, I guess Disney still finds it worthwhile to double up on opening week, and then still think that 4 weeks of standalone is still good. I feel like I would want to. I would feel like the urge to want to extend the conversation as much as possible. It's like, give me 1 more week of people talking about it to help tide you over until whatever the next Star Wars project that comes out is.
Well, Andor's the next one after that. I think, and I had read somewhere. I think they want to get that out because it's already been officially set for season 2 also. Yeah. But I had heard they want to get the Andor out suddenly again. So I don't know if there's I don't know. For us off camera, we got to decide how we're going to do this because normally we do our shows on Wednesday nights. We're going to have 2 episodes. We can't do 3 episodes on a Wednesday. Or we could. I mean, we do soaps every week. I don't know how John can handle that, but should we do? I feel like we should give each episode. We should give the first 2 their due, and then episode 3 its due. It should be separate. So we'll discuss that after that. But we will be doing an Obi-Wan show. So you can already go ahead and subscribe to it. And everything it's already set up. But I just thought it was very interesting. We decided to do that.
Yeah.
I mean, everybody start growing your Obi-Wan beard now. You've got time.
Well, look at John getting there.
Yes, John's ready. John is ready.
I've been training for this a long time.
I think I could let the rest fill in. I guess I could. Now, also coming up at the end of Memorial Day weekend, May 26th to 29th, it is Star Wars Celebration happening in Anaheim, California, which is not, well, it's not close to me and Frank, but it's not super far. It's down in Southern California here somewhere. Just so you guys know, they're doing strict COVID protocols. You have to be tested and all that kind of stuff. They say it's kid-friendly, so kids can come. The $900 price for all 4-day package is sold out. So I think because folks are ready to go out and do something again. It's been 3 years. The $195 1-day VIP package is sold out, but they're doing $75 a day for adults and $35 a day for kids.
Okay.
Which I think is not too bad. I mean, for that, if you can be there all day long, they have a lot of people coming. I've been seeing different names. I'm not listing all the names, but there's a lot of names coming. I I was curious about parking. That's why I don't know how much parking is going to be out there. Probably expensive, it's gonna
Right.
but people bought the $900 package. I think folks are just ready to go out again. They're ready to do something. They're ready to do something. And they also you go to the website, StarWarsCelebration.com, for also cosplay ideas. Yeah, I'd go as Darth, of course. That's what I would go as. Who'd you guys go as if you could go as a cosplay person?
First inclination is as Stephen Root's character again. Like that's an easy mark for me to hit. It's a bare minimum of effort on my part.
That's on brand with Frank. That's on brand. Yeah.
Oh, that's so funny. I feel like I'd probably do Obi-Wan.
Would you really? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, okay. But anyway, so it's coming up. So I mean, I'm not going. I'm not doing all that. I'm not going to Anaheim. But I want to go to a Star Wars thing one day. I've never been to a Star Wars fan event. So.
Somebody says they love Star Wars. Okay, James. All right.
You can have that shadiness all you want to. I ain't going to Anaheim. I don't know what's going on over there.
All right.
For me, I've never been a big fan of the cosplay. It's great for other people, and I love that they love it. But for me, it's when I go to those things, I consider just a time to myself to want to just go and steep myself in things that I'm interested in. So I want to be able to take my time, peruse in the aisles. I don't want to be bothered by people like, oh, can I take a photo? Can I take a photo? I have zero interest in that. I don't want to have to carry around some prop all day, which just makes it irritating. So yes, I just can't get into the cosplay. It's just, for me, it's just not work. It doesn't work.
So I guess I won't ask the question I was going to ask. I was going to see if you guys wanted to go next year and, find a couple extra people and be the Bad Batch or something.
No, I'll dress in costume, John. I like dressing in costume and carrying props.
Yeah, right.
I do it every day in my regular life. I carry props in my regular life, so I'm like, I don't mind doing a costume. We'll go next year. Frank will just he'll be the narrator or something. I don't know.
There you go. But it's like it takes, you can't buy stuff because nobody wants to take. Everybody's gonna want to take your photo, and you got your bag. You're like the Jedi with the 3 bags that you've got full of cool action figures that you've bought and a statue that you've been wanting for years. And so you're dragging that around, and people are stopping you constantly. Oh, let me can I just take a photo? Can you pretend you're using the Force on me? I'm like,
Frank, that's a regular Saturday for me when I leave the house. I'm always using people, pulling me aside and say, "You're James Bond Jr. Say cheese and crackers." I'm used to it, Frank. I carry bags all. I'm baggy. I carry bags all the time. My sister said she would go dressed up also. So maybe we got 3 of us so far, John.
Okay.
You can find a couple others. We'll find a couple others. But Frank's you're going to come too, Frank. He's going to just not be dressed up. You'll come along. You can hold our bags.
I'll great bag man. That's cool.
You hold on our bag.
I'll bring you like a vest, and you can be Han Solo or something.
Oh my god!
I went to, I think it was the first celebration that they had.
Okay.
And what was great is just the artwork. They had to do a lot of really cool limited edition artwork just for the celebration. So I bought a cool Princess Leia poster from Adam Hughes, a great comic book artist.
Oh wow!
It was kind of done like a vintage kind of a carnival poster of Leia, on Jabba's barge. So it was cool. There's some really cool artists doing a lot of great Star Wars stuff. So
yeah,
you could easily see money just rapidly flying out of your wallet if you're like, oh yeah, let me get this.
Well, trust me, my money, I have to come with thousands of dollars ready. It's not eat for a month beforehand or do anything.
That's right.
Yeah, that's it. That's all you have to do.
So, okay, the next thing I'll bring up first. There's 2 things I want to bring up. Actually, okay, I'll do that last. So I just finished reading the High Republic series. These are my books. I like them. They're fun. Very, very Jedi, very fun. And so apparently there's another series I have not read. I know who she is, of course. I follow her, E.K. Johnston. And it released the Amidala series, apparently, the latest in the trilogy, which is called Queen's Hope. Now, I've heard from some Star Wars folks think the trilogy sucks. I've never read it. I don't know if any of you guys have read it. I don't know if you read it or heard anything about it. But the latest one is out of the Queen Amidala series.
I haven't read any of them, and I gotta admit, admittedly, I mean, like Amidala is fine, in the abstract, but it's not like a character that I'm like riveted to. Like, I gotta know more about Amidala. She would not be one of those characters that I would just be naturally drawn to. That said, if somebody were really to persuade me that it's some really great stuff and it really dives deep into the character, maybe I could be convincing him to try. But on my own, I doubt I would read it.
I'm with you, Frank. John, what do you think?
I agree.
So Frank said, I'm like, she's not a character that I would want to know more about. I mean, I just like, or see on adventures. I just didn't. She's not. I mean, Princess Leia, sure, but her.
Princess Leia, sure, but Queen Amidala, I don't know. Padme is like, she's like in the Clone Wars and all those stories, way more interesting to me than when she's the Queen of Naboo. Like, she's doing way more cool, interesting stuff as that, than when she's the Queen of Naboo to me.
I agree.
Yeah, and I don't know what it is like the difference between her and Leia. And I don't know if it's because we saw, Padme as, Queen Amidala. We saw her as her and the roles that she evolved to during the course of the second trilogy. So I feel like we saw all that, and then what we got in addition to in the Clone Wars. But I feel like if you were to tell me what I like a Queen Amidala adventure, I'd be like, in my head, I could just kind of imagine what it would be, and it doesn't sound very exciting. But like a Leia, I feel like there's gaps between the three movies that you can fit cool stories in. She's, it's part of the rebellion. There's a lot of cool stuff that you could tell with Leia that hasn't been covered that I would be more interested in reading. There's at all about Amidala. Yeah,
there's a lot of cool, cool female characters, like even like Jyn Erso, right? Like, because we like in Rogue One, like we know that in Rogue One we see her get saved, right, by Saw Gerrera, and then she kind of is out of his sort of, his group. But we know that she was trained by Saw. She fought with Saw and worked with Saw. That's another character, a female character in Star Wars that I'd be much more interested to hear her stories than I would like a Queen Amidala,
Yeah, I agree.
Also, happy belated birthday to Pedro Pascal, our favorite Mandalorian. He turned 47. So, not old. I'm older than he is, that's why I can say that. Okay, kids. They released the cover of the upcoming book by Adam Christopher, Shadow of the Sith. Ooh. It has my man Lando in it. I'm so excited.
Wow.
So apparently, this is a bad cover, but I discovered it. Apparently, it follows Luke and Lando on a journey after Lando informs him of a new Sith menace. Also featured in Shadows of the Sith, say that 5 times fast, Shadows of the Sith, is the assassin Ochi of Bestu, and one Sidious hired to kidnap Rey and murder her parents. Also, the Empire's defeat and the death of the Emperor did not bring peace to Luke Skywalker so desired. Yeah, so it's coming out soon. And originally, they had hired him to write a Mandalorian book that was due to be released December 2020. And they pushed back to November 21st, 2021. They decided, after everything was going on with Boba Fett and everything, they decided, never mind. They canceled it. They replaced it with this, Shadow of the Sith. And they said a significant reason for the switch in plans was likely due to Luke's appearance in The Mandalorian and the happenings on Tython with Grogu perched on the Seeing Stone. So how do we feel, kids? How do we feel? Actually, I want to read this. I want to read.
Yeah. This looks very interesting.
Frank's not convinced.
What I find kind of a bummer about it, because I feel like, with the last film that we got with J.J. Abrams, it's kind of closing the book on the Skywalker story. We're not going to, the possibilities of seeing new stories with Luke are probably only going to happen if Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni kind of figure out some stuff that's kind of Mandalorian adjacent in that time period. But I think the choice, at least for me, of Luke going into seclusion for so long, it's like in your head, you want to think like, okay, we only saw these 3 movies, but there's so many adventures that Luke went on. So at least we could have novels of these. But when you take like such a big chunk of the time for him and say, oh, he went into seclusion because of, how his shame, and he just fled to this planet, was just by himself. I'm like, that's like, okay, great. That's just a lot of real estate that's just kind of gone. Like there's nothing that we can do with Luke in these times because he's just on an island moping. So I feel like,
Right.
why couldn't he just be out having active adventures? And now we're learning about them. For me, it was such a better choice to have Luke.
I agree.
He could have still been struggling, could have doubts, but to be in seclusion, just like, oh man, I feel like it robs a lot of like narrative ideas that writers could do with Luke in books.
John, what do you think?
Well, see, I'm wondering because like we saw that that temple from the from the sequel trilogy, right? That was destroyed when Kylo Ren turned on Luke, or however everything went down, whatever. The temple was destroyed, but we saw that very same temple, right, being constructed in Book of Boba Fett. So, and I feel like in the sequels, he looked much older in the sequel trilogy than he looked as the temple is being constructed in the Book of Boba Fett. And it seemed like the first, student was supposed to be Grogu and all that, right? So I am curious, where does Luke find his other students that he gets? And eventually he gets Kylo Ren and he gets all these other students, and the temple does get destroyed in that sequel trilogy. But is there anything that they can fill in between now what we have here from Book of Boba Fett to the sequel trilogy, where he's maybe going out and looking for new students and having adventures on that side of it? I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. For me, it's knowing what we got from the trilogy, the final trilogy, and just my at least lack of satisfaction with how they treated Han, Luke, and Leia. I'm all about like if you want to expand the mythos as well, but still the whole reason we're watching the story is because of these characters we love so much from the original trilogy. Yeah. So I part of me wishes that I rather would have rewound the clock and have Kylo Ren coming and destroying Luke's Jedi temple. There would be, I would rather it had been in that time period. To see that story, it seems much more interesting to me than to have all that stuff already had happened and Luke's in seclusion for however many years he is. That just seems, and now it's just more of a new generation like exploring these legends that we really wanted to know more about.
Right.
But the problem, the last trilogy had so many issues.
Yeah.
Again, we're going to hire different directors and we'll do each different one. Like, that's just dumb. And I felt like the last one, not 9 or whatever the F these things are, I can't do math, was course correcting a lot of 8. So it was like, everybody felt kind of collectively 8 was crappy. So I think, and to me, at the one time you had this chance to just kind of, even if for a brief moment, reunite Luke and Han Solo and Leia together when she was still alive. Like that never happened in any scene, or it's like this, just like that just bugs the F out of me completely. There's so many things I just think there are things they did I liked in the last trilogy. There were a lot of things I think they did wrong, and a lot of what you guys talk about with the Luke character. I agree with you guys completely. I completely agree. I just think it's, I think on paper it sounded good to them. You know what I mean? It sounded like, well, how he was secluded. He was like, how he was questioning his life or whatever. I think it's one of those trying to be dramatic moments. I think most of us can say it fell flat.
Yeah.
I think most of us can.
It's kind of funny too. Like I'm just thinking about this now, and like I think part of it is because the new Obi-Wan series is coming out, and like from what I've been reading, Obi-Wan at the beginning of this new series that's coming out is supposed to be a very broken man, a very broken Jedi, which is I think how we saw Luke when Rey first went and found him on the island. And I'm thinking to myself, like now, I guess I can understand why they made certain choices with Luke's character in this sequel trilogy. I can understand it even if I don't like it. but like I almost wish that they had mirrored it more after Obi-Wan, right? When Luke went and found Obi-Wan, Obi-Wan had been in hiding. He had been in seclusion on this desert planet, just kind of keeping an eye on Luke, but he was still like up for the mission. He knew what he had to do, right? It wouldn't that have been like a much better thing if Rey showed up on this island and was like, I have your lightsaber, we need your help. And he treated it as more of like an Obi-Wan thing where he was like, no, I screwed up and I'm not touching this. like that would have been like, all right, well, Luke went to Obi-Wan and Obi-Wan was willing to help him. And now like, it's a little disappointing to not see Luke in that same mindset when Rey comes to him in the next chapter of this story, but I don't know.
I agree because I'm with you on that totally. And then I try to take a step back and think, because usually any story that I watch, whether it's on the soaps or these, it's like, what's the more interesting choice? At least for me. And for me, it's for Luke to get more back into the action and not be such a recluse. And maybe for Rian Johnson, for him, the idea of Luke, what was more interesting to him was him kind of stepping away from the Jedi and their teachings and being that recluse.
Yeah.
And I guess it's one of those, certainly an agree to disagree kind of situations about what we like and we want to see in Star Wars. So, I mean, I'm not going to disparage anybody that was like that loves what Rian Johnson did with Last Jedi. Wasn't my cup of tea, but I mean, there were little bits and moments in that movie that was interesting, but no one will ever convince me that the character of Finn was done any favors in that film.
No.
Not at all. And he even said himself. So, in real life, he said the same thing. He was not any favors. People agree with you guys. I just the problem is with Star Wars. Here's the problem, kids. Here's the problem. We love Star Wars. That's the problem. We love Star Wars. So when we get a new Star Wars product, I admit I get excited. And so when a new trilogy was coming, or a new series is coming, or a series from somebody we used to like is coming, like I get excited. So we get excited and we're like, okay, we're ready. And they make these choices that are their choices. Sometimes they work, and sometimes so even better effect. Like Mandalorian was better than I thought it could. I didn't think much about it. It was better than I thought. Or it could be a Boba Fett thing. We're like, that was not the greatest. I mean, at first, but like wasn't that like? And I know, and with the last trilogy, because the second trilogy was so disliked by a lot of people in terms of jokes. People are starting to like it now more. They kind of go back and look at it more and see. Yeah. I think the stakes were high. I mean, I was like forced away. Okay, I'm ready for something really good to happen.
Right.
And then when I heard how they were treating the three as almost like three separate, but yet they're together. I mean, I thought, how do you do that? I mean, as now we're used to Marvel Universe, how they do it the way better, clearly. And I know trilogies. I've seen other trilogies that were done really well, and some that were done horribly. I mean, they're just kind of weird. I think that we are so could only better be good. That's all I gotta say. It better be good. Because if it's not good, we're gonna talk shit about it.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like I'm excited. I mean, I'm excited for it to be something that's worthwhile. And I know I'm a writer. I understand this. People have certain, like I said, on paper it may sound good. Some Batmans were serious and complete. Christian Bale was complete drama or whatever. Other Batmans were campy, with nipples and things. I mean, it depends on whoever is writing their interpretation of the story. Almost like what Frank just said. It's kind of like some folks like the crazy Batman, the Prince soundtrack, and some folks like the Christian Bale, where it was like a 2-hour drama movie. Mm-hmm. So I guess. What do you do, Frank? What do you do?
Yeah, I don't know, because I mean, even to take a further step back, you're thinking, well, Star Wars is not just something that people have grown up and loved and now are excited to tell the stories that they've always wanted to see happen in this universe, but it's also an intellectual property owned by Lucasfilm and Disney that they want to make sure has a long life. So they can still make all this money on all the various things, whether it's video games, action figures, merchandising, all that stuff. And whether that then becomes just a question of what's, that all the chefs start weighing in and like, what's the safest, way that we can, reach the broadest audience and still get them invested in Star Wars. which more often than not, I feel like to just a watering down of stuff, and it never quite sings. Like, so for me, Force Awakens, going to see that, so excited to see it, and then came out of it so underwhelmed, and it was so disappointing because it was just, I feel like, there's some great visuals and some moments, but overall it was just a movie that's like, it was just too much of a retread of stuff I'd already seen before.
Yeah.
And it felt weird for Star Wars. I don't know. Other articles that I would read about people saying, well, they needed to play it safe and they needed to get, people back on board with the Star Wars brand. I don't know if that's necessarily the case. I mean, Star Wars has shown its longevity, and so those fans are going to come. I don't think you need to rehash a storyline or the arc of another previously seen film in the Star Wars canon. Tell us something new, tell us something exciting, tell us, show us cool stuff. So
I agree with that, Frank. I do agree with that. That's crazy. I know. So all that discussion out of a book that's coming out soon. and then also people were talking about who are officially Siths, which Siths are canon, which aren't. I saw an argument about that. I can't even get to all that, but I saw an argument about that. I was like, which Siths, I can't even say it. Which Siths count?
I mean, what I do like about that book is it's an unusual pairing. You don't often see Lando and Luke together.
Exactly.
So I'm like, I'm always up for a Lando Luke pairing.
Me too. I'm a Lando fan, so for different reasons. I have Lando books, but I'm Lando comics like that. They're probably not canon anymore. Who knows? But they're old. I have those. But I was like, those two together, I might end up getting this one. I like the High Republic books. I like them, so I might get this one and see what this is about. But E.K. Johnston, I follow her on Twitter. She's always some people. But I've never read any of her books.
It's interesting too. Like I told you guys before we got on tonight that I was watching Return of the Jedi, and it's actually funny because like we're talking about Lando now, and like part of me feels like if we're getting Lando and Luke in this story, like could we get Han too? Could we get could you see other characters of this being in this book? That would be cool.
Possibly, but I'm sure that telling us everything. Of course, I'm sure he wants to read it, and so I'll read it. And I'll let you guys know.
Well, John, as you mentioned that you told us you watched Revenge of the Sith and Return of the Jedi.
Yeah.
So for you, which film do you think was better at successfully kind of ending their trilogy?
Oh boy. It's interesting because I feel like Return of the Jedi felt like an ending, whereas Revenge of the Sith felt like this part of the story ended, but we're moving into the other. Like you see Anakin become Darth Vader. You see Luke and Leia get separated and go to, so that like, yes, this trilogy is ending, but the story is not over. Whereas Return of the Jedi feels like a more final ending. That's kind of how I think.
Okay, I agree with that. I would agree with that.
How does because it's been a while since I've watched Revenge of Sith. Do you feel like the fight between Obi-Wan and Anakin still holds up?
Yeah, it's all right. It's pretty good. I'm excited for the rematch we're going to be getting in a couple of months.
Yes.
I know I caught a bit of it, just a little some snips of that fight, and just the effects just didn't quite hold up for me.
No, well, it's just Anakin is supposed to be like the greatest, like the chosen one. And Obi-Wan's literally like, "Don't jump up here! I'm going to cut off all your limbs." And then Anakin does it, and he gets all of his limbs cut off. Like, dude,
I told you.
Yeah, like he literally told you, "Don't do that."
Yeah, that's right.
It's like it hurts when I push on it. Then don't push on it. It's always that same thing. Like, it hurts when I push on it.
Yeah. You were the chosen one.
Yeah. Yes. I'm sorry. I know I haven't actually sat. I mean, I've watched some of the latest trilogy. It's on TV. I'll watch it sometimes. But I've really sat and watched the second set or the first set in a long time. It's been a long time because I've watched. I mean, one of these days when I get some time, maybe I'll sit there and watch them.
Well, I mean, you got to get in the mindset for Obi-Wan, James.
I know.
You really should.
I know. Well, we got an extra couple of days, so I got time in May to do it. I'm like,
honestly, all of these things are very interesting to watch at this period in time, because like even tonight I watched Return of the Jedi, so we were coming on for Book of Boba Fett after show, and like a couple hours before we started I was watching Boba Fett fall into the Sarlacc pit, so it was like it was cool to even see that too, like Revenge of the Sith last night, because like the movie before that, Jango Fett, Boba's dad's getting his head cut off by Mace Windu. It's like it is interesting to see, because as little of it as a role that we think of Boba having at sometimes, like we see his father get taken out in the prequel trilogy, we see him get taken out in the sequel trilogy. You do have a lot of stuff about Boba even in the Clone Wars, like you see little Boba trying to avenge his father's death in the Clone Wars, and then even the Bad Batch, you find out that Boba is, Omega is a clone,
Yep.
A genetically enhanced clone, but Boba is her brother. She's Omega, he's Alpha. Yeah. And that whole thing's interesting too. So like as much as like Boba was this like fringe character that became a fan favorite, he's become like a huge part of all this Star Wars lore. And dating back to all the way to the entire clone army being like the clone son of Jango Fett, but he didn't have the inhibitor chip. He didn't have all this other stuff that made him age faster. So he's like the true son of the clone, the guy that created the clone army, and then you have us meeting his sister Omega in the Bad. Like, it really is. He has such an interesting history throughout the whole saga, even though he is this character that started out off as being on screen for 6 minutes, like in the original trilogy. Like it's pretty wild.
Boy, I have not watched Bad Batch, but that what you've just told me.
You didn't watch Bad Batch?
I haven't, James.
I was.
I got stuff going on.
He's watching General Hospital. No, I was going to do an after show for. I got a slate done, everything, and I got too busy. I could have, but I did watch it. I ended up watching it because somebody else told me you should watch. Because I did watch the last of the Clone Wars. I watched Rebels. And the first episode has the opening is very much like the Rebels opening, and it's like all this stuff. So I saw the Easter eggs they're putting everywhere. And it was I liked it. It was cute. I liked Bad Batch. I did a review on my other show, so you can watch over there. But I thought it was cute. So I think you might like it, Frank.
Yeah. All right. I still feel like I always wonder, like, is George Lucas, is he oblivious, or is he just intentional in terms of how he treated Boba Fett? He's like, he knows there's this cool character that people are interested in. It's like, I'm going to screw with the audience and I'm going to kill him off in a really dumb way. Or is it just like, to him, it's not anything kind of like trying to get the audience. To him, he thinks it's just like a funny thing in the story, not realizing like, no, this is not how people want to see this character go out in this movie.
Right.
I would love to ask him, John, if you can get a hold of George Lucas for me.
Yeah, I mean,
actually, I was just texting him actually.
Okay, like you get a chance to talk to him with the Arizona tea, give it to him and say, on our show, we have questions, we have answered.
Yeah.
40 years. I have 40 years of questions to ask you, George. Get on here.
Super hot brush with George Lucas greatness. I'm doing a fashion makeover show, and we're going to a Star Wars premiere. We had made over somebody to go to the premiere. Yes.
Wow.
So the stylist, she's going to be on the red carpet line, and we just want to get a shot of her interacting with George Lucas just for a hot second, asking him a question as he's coming down the red carpet. So I'm prepping her. It's like, all right, when George comes, ask these couple questions related to the fashion and get him to talk about just the fashion and the look of Star Wars. George Lucas comes down, stops to talk to her. She blanks and says nothing.
Oh my God.
And George holds for a second. Do you have a question? And she just says nothing. And I'm behind the camera and her just just shaking my hands, like, say, and he just leaves. And what just happened? What just happened?
Oh my God.
Wow.
I would lose it. I would totally lose it.
Yes, it was so heartbreaking. I was like, it was right there. He stopped even. You didn't have to get him. You didn't have to try to wrangle him to come over. He stopped in front of you and asked if you had a question. And you said nothing.
And you guys understand, I've worked many red carpets. They don't always happen like that. So it's red carpets are brutal. Trust me.
Oh, yeah. My My brush with George
Your
Lucas.
brush. You should have ran up in front. You said, knock George and said, excuse me. Hi, George. I have a question for you. That's what I would have done. Really too long. She is mute all of a sudden.
Oh, man.
So, folks, we're going to end it here because it's a little over an hour. End it here. We'll be back again with some more Star Wars news, maybe some Boba Fett. Actually, we talked more about Boba Fett than we did in the last 4 weeks. So you got some Boba Fett content people out there today listening to the show. John, you are doing you're bold. That's what I'm doing, bold and beautiful. The other's BB. You're doing Big Brother Canada, and you were upset the other day. I saw a snippet. John was mad.
Oh yeah, it's been wild. It's been very wild in this house. Big Brother Canada is crazy. Anybody that's watched our US version, check it out. The BB Can if you can. I know it's a little weird. I think Paramount Plus has some old seasons of BB Can on right now. I may
check it out. I may go take a look. Paramount Plus.
Yeah, but they do a great job. And right now I'm covering that show on my podcast BB Jury Duty with two of my very good friends, Kyle and Gina. So we're talking about that every week on Thursday nights. You can find us at BB Jury Duty. You can find me at JDunn89 on Instagram and Twitter. And that's who I am.
That's not it. He's a TikTok star now too. I am Dumpy. Go to TikTok. He's getting numbers I haven't seen in a long time. And he's becoming a TikTok star. I am Dumpy. I'm good to go there, folks. Follow him. Start.
Thank you.
And Frank and I will be shadily here on Sunday, talking about General Hospital, of course. So, Frank, where can they find you otherwise?
Find me on Twitter and Instagram at HappyGoJackie.
Yes, he's there. Folks.
I just adjust my long locks.
You got such long, beautiful hair.
Yes, it's the Samson-like hair. Yes, that's him. I put my hair in a unicorn ponytail.
Very nice.
Because it's hot here in LA, and so I was trying not to show my hair. It's crazy. But you can follow me. We're all James Jr. Sold at James Jr. and all social media platforms. I'm on TikTok too. I'm a TikTok star too. But he's an upcoming star. He's getting numbers. He is. We love you guys. Thanks for tuning in and listening and watching. We'll see you again next week.